Hey, welcome back to Bill. My name's Bill. This is Pirate Solutions Forestry, and it's a hot day on Cape Cod. It's a Friday. Weather looks good, and I'm going to mill some 2x4s because I got to get some 2x4s knocked out for my shed project. And I've got customer mill jobs to do. However, I'm waiting on a couple of answers back, so I'm kind of like right in the middle of waiting on some things. So I'm going to blast out some 2x4s today. So to show you what I started with, and hopefully you can see Danny right over there in the background. He's hanging out with Dad. Two things. And I'm testing out the new Stellite bands from Norwood. We are up over 760 board feet on that band, and it's still cutting good. However, in my flooring job for Jesse Keys, I don't think I want to run that band anymore because I want his flooring to come out really flat, and I know that we're starting to get up there in life on that band, so I'm not going to mill any of Jesse's wood with that. So 2x4 is a perfect project for the shed. And I'm testing out some gloves. So mechanics saw my video on the best gloves for forestry. As you guys know, I use it's the new pair that I just got, the Husqvarna Technical gloves. I think they're the best I've ever used. Well, they saw the video and they asked me if they could send me some prototype gloves to test out for them. They sent me two pairs, and I've been testing out one of the pairs. I will show you on camera. Actually, I'll come around the back of the camera and show you. These, this particular pair is more of a day-to-day work glove that you would use with a tool belt on and maybe carpentry and stuff like that, because it fits really snug. You get real good dexterity in the fingers. The other pair is more like the Husqvarna Technical pair with the big leather palm, and I haven't even tried those yet because I figured I would test these out first. However, these right here are awesome. Now, I don't think that they have a name for them yet, and I'll show you this stuff. No, and I don't think I want to show you their prototype codes on these. However, yeah, it's all prototype codes on them. I will show you the gloves, and I'll tell you that when they're looking for feedback on them, when they do come out with these gloves, these are awesome so far. I've been using these for several weeks, handling a lot of lumber, running chainsaws, fixing chainsaws. I've got oil on them. I've got brake clean on them. I've got automatic transmission fluid on them, handled slabs, ratchet straps, you name it. These have really held up great, and I really like these a lot. So I will show you what these gloves are. So you can see that they are Mechanics brand. And this is the palm, called the Padlock Palm. And then it has these leather fingers. And these are, I'm very, very, very impressed with these gloves so far. I have not put a hole in them yet, which is super uncommon. So I am going to keep you up to date on the Stellite bands and how far we get with them before the thing just won't cut anymore. And on these particular gloves, and then after I wear holes in these, I'll switch over to the other ones and I'll try those out until I wear holes in those. I'm going to debark some of this log. I'll let you guys watch. If you're not into, geez, how do you debark a log? I'm starting to pull apart my old pile up top. I don't know if you can see the chicken coop that we haven't put out back yet sitting there. To the left of the chicken coop is a pile of pine logs, and there's some locusts there too. Those logs have been sitting there the longest. So I'm starting to pull that pile apart today. And this is a white pine log. I need 10 footers. This one is just over 12 with some funky ends on it. I am gonna, been sitting in the dirt for quite a while. I'm gonna rip some of the bark off it. It's gonna make it easier for me to turn it. It's pretty, obviously it's not a light log. It's a pretty heavy log. and then we'll go at it with the Stellite band, and we'll see how far we can get. So this log is about 17 inches around, which is a shitty size because it yields just less than in theory, just less than a 12-inch cant. 11.9, I think, is the math. Of course, with the multiplier, it should yield very close to a 12-inch cant. I think what I'll do, because they're just 2x4s, is I will just accept the fact that there's going to be some wane, and I'm going to try to get, I need a 12 1/4 to end up with 3 4-inch cants. So you need 12 1/4. It almost doesn't matter on the width. So if you want to make them 2 inches thick, true 2 inches or 1.5 or 1 3/4 or whatever, it almost doesn't matter on that for building. For somebody like me, I don't really care about that dimension as much as I do the 4-inch dimension. I need them 4 inches wide. I don't really care about the thickness because that's just going to be an on-center issue. So we'll try to do them at 2 inches. But if we end up with a situation where the math works out shitty, then the math works out shitty. No big deal. But we need to get 12 1/4 to get 3 4-inch cants out of this log. So that's what we're going to shoot for. It's a lot of bark under the mill right now, obviously. It's going to make it much easier for me to turn it. And we'll kind of get to town. You are seeing me work in shorts today. I don't work in shorts very often, but it is hot out. Actually, I don't want that there. See if we can get this thing shoved over to the stops. I kind of like it just where it's sitting. It's not really going to matter. It's just 2x4s. Get it shoved over to the stops. We'll take a measurement. We'll get up to the top. We'll take the top off it. And we'll go to town and see how it comes out. If you guys have any questions, hit me up. I will just take a rudimentary measurement to, this is one of those logs that's like cut exactly at 12 feet too, so it sucks because it barely fits on the bunk. So I'm like 18 to the top here. If there's a big difference, I'm going to shim that end. I do have the fat end down. It's not a big difference. It's just over 18 down there. So this is going to work fine. I'm going to pause you guys, fire up the mill, get ready to go, and see how fast we can roll through this. Another good thing about these gloves is I can actually use my foam buttons through the fingers. It's kind of cool. So I set my scale on 2-inch scale. I went down to 6 1/4. So you'd be at 2 inches, 4 1/8, and then 6 1/4. I went to 6 1/4, set my 2-inch scale, my magnetic scale, to a 2-inch mark. So now I'm on 2-inch scale for when I get to that point of cutting the 2x4s. What we're going to do is we're going to rip the top off it, and as high as we can until we get a fairly decent sized flat. I am going to try to take, unless it doesn't make any sense at all, I'll try to take 2-inch flitches off it that I can edge down later into 2x4s, but sometimes it doesn't make any sense and I can just put them into 1-inch material where I can use that for sheathing on the shed. So when in doubt, I'll make a 2-inch flitch. And we're going to go ahead and get at it. So I'm just going to walk around that way back to the mill so I can grab myself a drink on the way back, and we'll get to milling. It's not that bad now. It was hotter an hour ago. So I'm up at 18 right now. I'm going to get my tape measure on my hip. I'm up at 18 right now. What I'm looking for is a 12-inch flat across here. So after I take the top off it, we could just go ahead and measure a 12-inch flat That doesn't mean it's going to be 12 inches all the way down, which is why it's almost a just skip the step right now. But we're going to see what it will look like and see what we need to take it off. I'm going to drop down to 17 and we'll do it there. Water flowing. Now, one thing I don't care is I don't care whether I get 12 and 8 either way. This cut right now is a little bit narrow. This log is very wet. It's 8 inches. If I go down an inch, I'm still not going to be 12. Probably could only get 2 2x4s out of it the way it is. I think I'm just going to skim 1 inch off this right now. So now it's 17. I'm going to have to go to 15 and 7/8 and we'll take another inch off it. So I just come up 2 turns. We'll take this 1 inch flitch off. We'll roll this log over. We're going to kind of have to let the log dictate what it's going to end up at. The band still feels like it's cutting fine. Some beautiful blue staining in it, if that's what you're into. Right now I'm kind of just into flat cuts. So we're going to flip this thing over if I'm man enough, and we'll take the top off the other side. I'm not sure where my stops are, but they're kind of like halfway down the log, so it should be good for all this part of it. Nice. This log is very, very wet on the outside. Probably just because it's been sitting on the bottom of the pile. It's been sitting quite a while. What are we hung up on here? Nothing really. Okay. There's a bunch of dirt here I'm going to take off. Get it over to stop here. Not super critical in this phase of the game because it's kind of heavy still. Let's get some of this dirty bark off here. There's a bunch of dirt on the end of the log. It's going to really mess the blade up when I go in. Probably just going to brush it real quick. Marty soaking wet, sweating. There's a whole shitload of mud right here. A whole shitload of mud right here. Log kind of smells like sewerage, kind of, because it's already starting to decompose on the outside. One big chunk of mud right here. Get that off. There's a big chunk of mud right here. Big chunk of mud. You know, I want to test the band, but I don't want to be a barbarian at the same time. I want to just smoke it and then say, oh, see, it doesn't last. Quite a bit of mud here. It's going to cut through it one way or another. So we'll take some measurements, figure out where we got to cut. Take the top off it now. Like I said before, my goal is to get to hopefully 12 1/8 by 12 1/8-ish. If I can get it 12 1/8 and 12 1/8, I can cut it out either way. Obviously, to cut 2-inch pieces into 12 would be 6, would be 5/8. So it would have to be really 12 1/8 by 12 5/8. So in reality, I should try not to go below 12 5/8 if I can, and then I can use it either way to cut out even 2-inch increments. And if that seems kind of like overthinking it, it's really not. However, you need to be aware of it. So let's see where the top is here. So 13, 14 wouldn't be a bad cutout. Let's try it at let's see, 12 5/8, 13 3/4. Let's try and cut it at 13 3/4, and then we could take a 1-inch flitch off and still hit our 12 5/8. Now, because that cut just worked out so perfectly wide, I am going to go ahead and flip it on its side now. I'm not going to take a 1-inch flitch off it. I'll leave myself room to take it off the other side. So we'll get the mill back. We'll flip it on its side now. This is pretty wide. It's over 12, 13, 14, 12. So this is a good wide cut. It's better than the other side. So the other side could get the inch taken off it to even it up. So get her spun on her side, squared up, and then we'll do the same thing. One critical cut is the next one. Man, I am sweating. Wow, it does not want to sit like this. See if I can get it with the log dog assist for now. It does not want to sit like this. This is a bad way. Let's see how close that is to square. Holy Lord, it's almost perfect. Almost perfect. I'm actually going to stick a low log dog in it. I'm going to just tweak it back just a hair. Stay there. Don't hit me in the head. It needs to go back just a hair. Just a hair. Let's get a dog down here. Perfect right there. It's dead square right now. This is the side that can get the extra taken off it, so I don't want to go by this side. I want to cut the top off based on the other side, really. Oh, there's a big old chunk under there. That's actually good. Rose it up. So 18 looks like the top cut. We're going to try it there. Nice and level because it's sitting up on that limb. Hopefully we don't run out of fuel. All right. Torque's a little high. I'm going to come down to 17. Just a little better. We'll cut it right there. Nice. We'll flip it on its side and we'll take an inch off the side down to so right now we're at 12 5/8. All right, 12 5/8 this way. We need 12 1/4. No, what? Huh. That's weird. 12 3/4. That's weird. Like I messed up when I was thinking I was doing it 13 3/4. I did it 12 3/4. So this dimension here is okay for cutting twos out of. So really what I want to do is flip it all the way over. Now, let me think about this for a second. So I want to get my twos out this way. I need to cut 3 4s out like that. So I need to get to 12 1/4 in this dimension, or I'm just going to skim a piece off of this side. Not really going to help. It's dumb. So I'm going to flip it all the way over 180 degrees, cut it to 12 1/4, then cut it into 3/4, flip them on their side and mill them out. Okay, so I want to flip it over. Stay there. Stay there. Oh. Oh, jeez, what the fuck is it stuck on? Stuck on the stop. No. No. Jesus God. Oh, it's gonna fall off. Come on, baby. Start snaking. All right. Jesus. Fucking thing. I want to get it, oh, it's sitting on there. Okay. So my goal now is to get to 12 1/4 and then come down and saw it into 3/4. Oh, I can't do it yet. Let's take top off it first before I adjust the outside stops. Right, so I want to get to 12 1/4, see what that looks like. That's going to be there. Looks like I can come up to 14 3/8. Load it up. Nope, the waste cut. That was a waste cut. I think I'm just going to drop down to 12 3/4 and try not to get nothing out of this. It's not going to work with that end the way it is. 12 1/4. 12 1/4. That should yield me somewhere around an 8-foot 2x4 off here. Oh, it's dumb. I'm on the wrong side, boys and girls. So now I should be at 12 1/4. How I got to drop down 4. I'm gonna make sure my stops are low enough. What I'm gonna try and do is we're gonna try and saw this into 3 4-inch pieces. So we're gonna drop to 8 and an 1/8, and then to 4. So these stops need to be set around 2. So I can't hit them. I'm still gonna roll it, so. Hi, Danny. So we want to cut it like 8 and 1/8, and and 4. And hopefully, I'm just going to take a measurement, make sure it's in the right spot. That looks right. Hopefully we can cut it at 4 as well. I'm going to drop it down to 4. Hopefully we clear there. Something, we're hitting on something. Oh. Okay. Alright, stay there. We're going to want to get this thing spun on its side. And then we can cut it out into 2x4s. Going off scale on the top. Just so I don't flip it off the mill. Fill these two up quick. Then we'll roll the thing over. Come on, stand up. No, stand up. I'll be really careful here I don't lose it. Like that. Okay. And we'll drop our stops down. They just got to go below 2. Should be good. And we can cut out 2-inch pieces all the way down. And I think just for sake of getting the best pieces, so how we are here, there's a little bit of wane on the bottom of this one. I think I'm going to flip this one over. That way, if I have to trim it, I'm trimming the wane. Okay. So if we have to trim it, we can trim the wane. That's above 2. So to get 6 2-bys, it's going to be 12 5/8. So our first cuts are 12 5/8. And that is on scale. All right, go up, get the hair. We'll drop down to the next 2-inch, take it off. Ta-da! Up 2 or 3. Next one should be 8 3/8. Up 5. Next one should be a 6 1/4. Come up 7. Let's get it back and get some of these 2x4s off. So we are going to be over 1,000 board feet when we're done here. We're getting about 8 board foot a 2x4 right now. There's a little skim cut on top of this one right here. These top 2 rows off then. I'm good, I think. The band is starting to cut a little wavy, but this log is really weird. It's got a lot of knots and it's got some real wet spots in it, so it's really tough cutting for a band to cut flat on this right now. But it definitely has got a couple of waves in it. I can see some around the knots. So how high am I right now? I'm 10, I'm going to be 2, it's 8. I got to take one more row off to be safe. And I'm going to get 18 2x4s out of this at 8 apiece. 8 board feet apiece. So that's 80 and 64 is 144. 144 to the 760. I think this just puts us right at, no, 900 board feet. Unless I'm wrong. 8 times 16 is 80 and 64. That's right. Here's 144. I was at 762. So that's 900 board feet. All right, drop down to 4 and then 8. Two, three, 4, 5. I'm going to set my dogs on this as I go by because it moved a little bit. And come down to 2 inches and we'll make our last cut. Ran right into my stop. I don't know why. I don't know what happened there. I thought I set it down low. But it's not down low. So now I gotta muscle through this cut. Son of a bitch. I thought I set it just above an inch. I don't know what happened. Okay, so I'm gonna have to fight through the rest of this cut. Obviously, this is going to be all there is for this band. I don't know why this thing didn't drop all the way down. Maybe it's on a piece of bark or something. And I thought it was all the way down. Oh, damn it. Oh, what the fuck? I don't know what's going on here. What's going on here? All right. Okay. Huh. Funny, it is bottomed out. I don't know why it's not going up, but it didn't go all the way down. All right, that looks okay. So that's the first time I've cut into one of my stops. So I'm just joined the club. Hopefully this band is good enough to get the rest of the job done here. Yep. All right. So let's see how long that took, even with me talking. It's going to conclude the exercise. What are we at? 49 minutes. 49 minutes, we got 3 times 6, 18 2x4s. I won't take these off now. Spare you. I will show you some of the cuts because this is going to be 900 board feet on that band, and I won't have any other way of comparing, but you can see down that edge on some, there's a little bit of waviness. A little bit of waviness on that one. I will say again, now this one it cut really straight. There's almost no seam. This one's got a little bit of waviness in it. But if you can see the difference in between the wood, where some of the wood's really saturated and some's really dry in the middle, that's really tough on a band, coming in and out of wood where there's water pouring out of it into wood that is in the middle, that these logs have been sitting here for 2 years and a bone dry in the middle, but they're soaking wet on the outside, like with this flitch where it's just soaking wet. and it's got knots, and that's really tough on trying to stay straight. However, it looks like we were kind of getting to the end of that band. So I think that I would feel comfortable saying that I cut this whole band in softwood. I didn't cut through anything that was super dirty. No hardwood with it at all. And I got to just about 1,000 board feet before I cut into my stop. I would say that's about consistent with what you can expect. Could I keep cutting with this and slow down? Probably a little bit. Like I could probably, if I hadn't hit my stop, I probably could blast my next log into a cant. So I could definitely get to 1,000. But I think that's about the limit of it. I think I've documented real life on it, and so if you're cutting 1,000, it's basically double the life of a regular band. So anything else, any regular band, the $20 bands, $30 bands, your 747s or your Turbo 7s or your Sabertooths, 500 board feet's a lot for them. That's right at the end. So this one looks like, to me, cuts just about double. That definitely makes it a little bit more price effective, because it's about double the price. So does that make it worth it? That's a good question, because if you hit metal and it wrecks it, you're wrecking twice the band. And cost wise, you're about paying the same for the board footage, is my estimation. I could show you down these 2x4s to show you they would start getting wavy. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it well, but you know, you can see waves in the lines down there. So it did not cut wavy at all before that. It's just starting to get wavy. I think you can see down this outside line just ahead of my finger there's a big wave in it. And these weren't super big cuts either. There's nothing like I was cutting the other day with the, 24, 26, 28 inch wide shit. This is a 12-inch cant. A 12-inch cant and white pine, dry in the middle white pine too. So this is not hard cutting right now. The outsides where it was wet in the sapwood, yes, but in the middle in this cant, this is not hard cutting. Seeing waves in it, and that is definitely telling me that this band was getting whooped. So I don't think I'm making anything up. So I think at 1,000 board feet, I think you're just about getting double the board feet, maybe a little more. Maybe you're going to get 300 to 400 on a lesser band, maybe a little more, but it's about double the board feet and double the cost, I think. But if you hit metal, you're screwed. You're wasting double the cost. Hopefully, if you guys will see me do that, you go back in the videos, you can watch me hit metal and rip 20 teeth off it. So, mechanics gloves still holding up great. I'm going to start putting some stuff away out here. I'll use the Bobcat to get that bunk off. I need all these 2x4s for my shed. I'm not going to put the walls up until I have all the 2x4s cut, because I'm still using the tarp to cover my shiplap floor over there, so it's not sitting out getting rained on. So I want to do it all at one time. I want to put the walls up and then put the rafters on and then sheathe the roof all at one time. So I'm going to try and cut all the material I need to do that, because it only takes me one day to do all 4 walls and start doing rafters. So I guess that's it for now. For Danny, who's sleeping under the pickup truck over there, wishing he was in the house, and myself, thanks for the watch. If you have any questions, hit me up. And for now, this Pirate Solutions out.